welcome to Kapow. I'm Sonya's evil twin.
And I'm Al's evil twin. In honor of Villains Month, we've taken things over here at Kings Comics. All your reviews belong to us.
And to make the workload a little easier, I made an evil clone of Ray.
G'day. How's it going?
It's going fine, Ray clone.
You're pronouncing it wrong. It's Ray Cologne, as in that place in France where the perfume comes from.
I'm pretty sure that's in Germany.
You are?
Yeah, right. So what are we looking at today, Ray?
I don't know. I was watching the footy.
Good. Well, we're reviewing Hit from Boom Studios and Forever Evil, the new event from DC.
Grass.
Right, you can leave now.
All right.
Well, that didn't go too well.
No.
Luckily, I reviewed a new Sideshow Joker statue with the real Ray.
Well, also, luckily, I made a clone of Ray too, and I'm sure mine came out properly evil.
Yeah.
Woo! Hey guys, how's it going? Feeling good? Feeling fresh? Looking a bit tense?
Balls.
Yeah, nice one there, Evil Al. So, what else are we reviewing today, Ray 3?
3? Drop the TH, it's Ray free with an F for peace. Come on. And let's just drop with the judgment. Review's such a harsh word. I'm thinking that we should say no to cynicism.
Cynicism!
Yeah, that's right. You said it right. Because I couldn't. So we're just going to keep cruising, you know, and think about how comics and cartoons and collectibles make us feel.
Okay,
Let's do poems.
you know what? You can go. Yeah. Just go.
Everybody,
please.
yeah.
Just go.
Yeah, let's go.
Go.
Haiku. Haiku.
Haiku.
Okay, you know what? Mistakes were made. Let's just move past it. We'll be taking a bit of a look at the new Riddick movie. Thankfully, we also did that with the regular Ray.
And then we'll have a chat about some of the supervillains out there who are just plain dumb. And after that, I assume we're going to take a look at the manual of our cloning machine to work out what the hell we did wrong.
Well, you know what? I'm blaming the base materials. That Ray guy was weird to start with.
Haiku. Haiku.
Okay, you know what? I think it would be fair to say that some people were a little bit disappointed by DC's Trinity War, feeling that there was something of a lack of payoff, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's also fair to say, though, that if there was going to be a payoff for Trinity War, then Villains Month had better be it. And so we thought we'd take a look at the flagship comic for the event, Forever Evil.
A comic event that brings all of the supervillains together. With a writer like Jeff Johns, you know he's going to throw himself headfirst into this one. He loves his villains.
Yeah.
And he certainly doesn't disappoint here when it comes to papering the walls with DC bad guys.
No, that's very true. Look, I found with other team-ups with good guys, it can all get a little bit overwhelming. And yet, with the villains, those rules don't seem to apply. You can just enjoy this crowded 4-page spread of them, as the Crime Syndicate introduces themselves like a rock band at a stadium gig.
Ah, the Crime Syndicate, an alternate Earth version of the Justice League, who have just popped over from Earth 3. Having destroyed their own world, they've decided to take ours.
Yeah, rude, actually.
Ultraman, Superwoman, Owlman, Johnny Quick, Power Ring, Atomica, and Grid are going to be the main antagonists for this story. And in the absence of the Justice League, it doesn't look like there's anyone around who can stop them.
With the possible exception of Lex Luthor. Unexpected saviors don't get much more unexpecteder than the CEO of LexCorp. But that's just the sort of tone change that this comic embraces.
It's exploring a concept that we have seen a couple of times before in comics like Old Man Logan or Mark Millar's Wanted, but it's a fun enough question, it deserves to be re-asked.
Yeah.
Because what would happen if all the bad guys worked together? And I also like seeing it explored on a present tense rather than as a fact of the past, as we've seen in those stories.
Yeah, true.
And I'm also liking the artwork from David Finch.
Absolutely. His attention to detail really comes in for the more frantic panels. There's just so much going on that you can really take your time and just drink it all in.
I think some people might be irritated by the time jump between the end of Trinity War and the start of Forever Evil, but certainly that is going to get filled in, I'm sure, as the series goes on. And I think that builds the tension while we're wondering what happened to all the Leaguers, so I think that works. Also, the appearance of a certain Mr. Cord has me excited for a whole other reason, so
Indeed.
I'm going to give this one a buy.
Yeah, look, I'm giving this one a buy as well. I really love DC villains, and it's nice to see them all thrust into the spotlight. Plus, it was kind of cool to see the Crime Syndicate again. Having watched Crisis on Two Earths, though, I can't help but hear James Woods' voice every time Owlman speaks. But that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no,
I'm okay with that.
That is definitely awesome. Now, Evil Sonya,
Yes.
since we're doing our villain episode, I have to ask, who is your favourite villain?
Look, that's a difficult thing to decide. You know, unfortunately, I also like Catwoman just like good Sonya does. I also love my Poison Ivy, but the one that I have aspired to be like and have shaped my life around is Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. She's awesome.
Nice choice, with the horns.
The horns.
Yeah, good
Turns
stuff.
into a dragon.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
so do I.
Hi, Ray. Ray? Ray, we have a review to do.
Ray, go away. Come again another day.
Okay, Ray, you're not the Joker, so get your ass out here. Hurry up. Come on.
Sorry, Sonya. Hi guys. This is the Joker premium format figure by Sideshow Collectibles. This figure was the launching piece for the DC Comics Sideshow line. Designed by Joe Allard and sculpted by Martin Canale, the Joker is a quarter-scale figure that features an intricate, real fabric costume, including a lined topcoat with posable tails. Now for this review I went straight to the source, so I asked my old buddy Joe what inspired the design of this sculpt.
Well, to me, he looks like the Joker from The Killing Joke.
But interesting that you say that because both Allard and Canale are big fans of that graphic novel.
Cool.
Though this Joker, this piece is meant to be an idealized vision of everything Joker. So they took bits and pieces from several different incarnations and added a little of their own spice, and this was their interpretation. Though, as you said, it definitely leans toward a Brian Boland influence.
Yeah, definitely. I really love the base on this as well. It's simple, but they've made it carnival-like. Kind of blending a merry-go-round with the turning clown heads, which would really freak the hell out of the real Sonya.
Yes, well, tell the real Sonya they want the ping-pongs, not her hands. Anyway, yes, it's a very nice touch. And if you have a look at the Harley Quinn figure, which is also up for pre-order at the moment, you'll notice that she has a very similar base, and that's because the two are meant to be companion pieces.
Cool. I gotta say, I'm really loving the fabric used in the costume too.
Yes.
It gives another dimension to the statue. The waistcoat under the jacket, together with the little buttons, the bow tie, and, of course, the homage to the squirting flower prank on the lapel.
Yes, a very nice touch. As with the posable tails for that subtle element of customization. Personally though, I love the slither of blade you see hidden within the cane and just how the hands are lightly dancing around it. It's a superb decision that allows a little window into the real threat, the real danger of this character.
Yeah, while keeping everything else quite light and playful.
Yes.
Even the sculpt of his face is very cheeky. It's enticing. There's a charm about it despite how sinister he is.
The exclusive edition, which this isn't, comes with a switch-out head whose face is much scarier, also sporting the infamous broad-brimmed fedora as well.
I don't know, I kind of like him just as he is here.
Yeah, well, me too, actually. I compared both pieces, and I thought that this said everything that I wanted in my Joker, just as the standard edition.
Yeah, he is a fantastic figure.
Yes, I thought so too.
There's such a vibrancy in the colours and the stance. I'm very impressed with this. It's definitely a buy from me.
Now, look, I know you already mentioned the face, but I just wanted to hone in on some of these details because they're excellent. If you have a look closer, all those creases, the teeth, the vein in his neck, the curl of the green hair, all these elements of detail show great craftsmanship. So overall, I think this succeeds in representing an unmistakable, iconic version of the Joker. It's a buy from me as well.
So, Joe Allard, it's your buddy, is he?
Yep.
You just call him up, do you?
No, we shared an email.
You know Al and I have both cloned you, right?
What now?
Okay, so it's Villains Month, right? So we've all been asked, and now it's your turn. What's your favourite villain?
Dark Helmet.
I'm not even surprised. Not even surprised. There are good guys, and there are bad guys. But why stop there when it's so much fun to blur the lines and play within the shades of grey?
Yes, and it's somewhere within those shades of grey that we find Boom Studios' new 4-issue miniseries, Hit. It's the 1950s in LA. Drug baron Mickey Cohen is weeks away from being released from prison, and the LAPD has empowered a secret group of police officers to hunt down and kill the city's worst criminals.
This is an idea that we've seen before in comics like Garth Ennis's Red Team or in movies like Gangster Squad.
Is that what that was about? I fell asleep halfway through. Bad film.
But yeah, regardless, LA in the 50s is a great place to have this kind of crime pulp story. We focus on Harvey Slater, a detective who is part of the LAPD's secret hit squad. He's sarcastic, he smokes too much, and he has a very short temper. All the ingredients for a classic crime noir anti-hero.
Absolutely, and Bryce Carlson really is hitting all of the noir highlights, isn't he? I mean, we've got compromised morality, we've got seedy bar rooms, we've even got a femme fatale thrown in to just move the story along.
Yeah, and Vanessa R. Del Rey is quite obviously at home within this genre. The use of contrast, line and shadow, casting even the heroes into a stark, menacing silhouette, brings to mind every Raymond Chandler movie you've ever seen.
Her art does remind me of some of Sean Phillips's work, maybe a bit more abstracted on the character models, but I think that works, especially in the action scenes.
All up, I really enjoyed this comic. I think anyone who enjoys Raymond Chandler or Dashiell Hammett or James Ellroy will really be able to get on board with this. Plus, it's kind of cool to know that it's inspired by true events. It might be worthwhile reading the afterword as a forward, because it just gives this comic a little bit more gravity. It's definitely a buy from me.
Yeah, look, I did like it, but I felt myself slightly distanced from the lead character. I mean, we start off the story with him executing some people.
True.
You know, noir hero or not, it'd be nice to see something in there that just kept us on board with him and carried us along with him. I mean, regardless, it is still a solid addition to the genre, and I'm giving it a borrow.
Awesome. Now, Evil Al, you've put me on the spotlight. It's your turn now. Who is your favourite villain? The one you most admire?
Okay, well, there's a lot of great guys out
There is.
there. You know, the Joker obviously springs instantly to mind,
Yep.
but when it comes down to it, when I look to a villain that I'm going to aspire to, I have to look at a combination. There has to be the scariness, there has to be the viciousness, there has to be some coolness as well.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with Skinner Sweet.
Ah, a bit of American Vampire.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
He's vicious, he's deadly, he's funny, he's suave, he's got the
well
whole
cool.
package. He's very cool, and he's my pick.
Good choice.
So given that we're doing a bit of a villain special this week, I thought we'd take a look at a certain kind of villain, an anti-hero if you like. We all went along and checked out Riddick, which is playing in cinemas at the moment, and we're going to share our thoughts. Sonya, you can start.
Yeah, well, I think it is a rather villainous film. Not in a good way. Look, I'm really tired of seeing these kind of films coming out. Like, there's no cohesion in the story. And yet again, and I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, you've got one female character and she's over-sexualized.
Yeah.
She could have been such a cool character. It's like they had an idea to make a really hardcore female merc and then just completely lost how to do it.
She was pretty close, yeah, but it's just
But
the
all
way
the-
the other
Every
characters
line.
interact.
It was all the dialogue.
Yeah.
Every line seemed to be somehow about sexualizing.
Exactly.
Yes. Meanwhile, she's punching people around, she's
Yeah,
sniping
she's
people.
doing really cool stuff,
every line is about
everything is about
sexualizing.
sex.
Yeah.
And you've got Katie Sackhoff coming in. She's hardcore. I've
Yep.
liked her ever since Starbuck. You know, she's awesome. Give her a chance. Like, come on now. And then you've got the CGI in the environments. Not so much with the creatures. I didn't have a problem with those so much, but the environments. I mean, you've got desert environments that you can see the outline of the rock as they hit the green screen. Come on, people. We got money. You've got a budget. Let's
Yeah.
do it properly.
Yeah.
Or don't do that. Do it somewhere that you've actually got the environment that you want.
Shoot in a desert.
Shoot in a desert. There's a lot of them about. I don't know. I came out of it just going, really? I like Riddick. This was awful.
See, that's the thing. I want to start by saying I really like Riddick. I'm a Riddick fan. I
Yep.
like Pitch Black.
Yes.
I like Chronicles of Riddick.
Me too.
I like Butcher Bay, Dark Athena, even the animated feature.
Yeah.
The whole schmear. I like it all. So I really wanted to like this, and I just couldn't.
No.
I just couldn't. And the main problem is that they tried to remake the first film.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's basically what they were doing with this. It had exactly the same plot. Stuck on a planet due to some sort of atmospheric condition. It's not darkness this time, it's rain.
Yeah.
Which is much scarier. That we have to get out because there's these big alien creatures coming for us. Oh,
Yep.
we have to get power to the ships. That's the plot of the first film.
I've seen that film.
Yeah, and then they do it all over again, but they do it worse. They don't do it better, they do it worse. They're not playing with sort of building the tension. They make all the characters hugely overdramatic.
Yeah.
In the first one, they were regular people. They were normal people who had regular lines that grounded everything.
Yeah.
And then Riddick could be completely over the top.
Yeah.
But in this, they're all killers,
They're all thugs.
psychos.
Yeah.
So they're all ridiculously overdramatic. They're all dropping nonsensical one-liners.
They all
that
want to
you
get the zinger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every single line is an attempted zinger that most of the time doesn't even make sense. It's
Yeah.
like, what was that about? Mud? I don't understand. So that was really frustrating
Yeah.
for me. You don't remake the same film. People wanted Riddick to go further. They wanted to see a development of this world.
Yeah.
And this just didn't deliver it. It was a real disappointment for me.
Yeah, look, I agree. It was a disappointment for me as well. Look, Vin Diesel, I'm not expecting great things, but just the basics would be good. And that would be just some clear delivery and a little bit of rise and fall in inflection and and pace, basically. And I don't know whether that was due to direction or Vin himself, but they're just every time that he had something cool to say, it was already squashed by the fact that he had been monotonous for the past half hour previously, and he's supposed to be a cold-blooded, calculated killer, and yet he's speaking like a dimwit half the time, and I just don't see that that's...
Very harsh.
Yeah, real harsh, right?
Well, and look, I didn't
What if
really
he
appreciate
sees this?
Yeah.
Well, then I'm sorry, Vin, but you can arm wrestle me all you like. I'm not going to concede. The other thing I didn't like was the sound. Like this dramatic crescendo every time there was a different chapter or a different scene, da-da-da! And now we go
Now you
start
can turn
again.
the page.
They did kind of bookend
It was.
every scene.
everything.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And also during some of the larger action moments as well, it's really just obtrusive. I didn't want to hear all of it as well. Let the action tell the story, and
Totally.
the sounds just guide it there. It's supposed to support that as an undercurrent, not supposed to notice it.
Yeah.
So look, I didn't enjoy it at all.
no.
Is there anything that you guys did enjoy from the film? I quite like the motorcycles, some of the mechanics of the world. I thought it was kind of
Yeah, that
cool.
was pretty
Those
cool.
hover
Yeah.
bikes
Yeah,
were
yeah.
kind of cool and functional. I'll
The
have one.
spaceships look kind of like Firefly.
They were a
It
bit
seemed to be a
Firefly-ish.
rip-off of the Serenity.
Yeah.
But still, they look good.
Yeah.
The machinery and everything looked
And I
good.
thought the creatures were quite good.
Yeah.
Like the way that they moved and the physiology of the creatures, I thought was
Yeah.
quite. It was good. It
Put,
was okay.
put aside the fact that showing the creature so
Oh,
early
yeah,
on kind of takes
all the fear
impact
out of them,
later
yeah.
on, so that was a negative side
Yeah.
of that. But still, they looked
They
good
looked
in
good.
and
And when
of
he
themselves.
shot
They had a
them and
good
they kind of
design.
slid down, I thought that was kind of
Yeah,
cool.
that was cool. For me, there was one scene that I really liked that I went, ha ha! It was like, that's what I had wanted to see the whole film. It's he's chained up and he manages to kick a knife through someone's head.
Yeah.
And they
pretty
went
cool.
That's
they
Riddick.
went up a level in sort of visual violence.
They did.
Yeah.
From the previous films, and I was like, yeah, I'm
what
good
we
with that
want.
escalation. I'm good with that sort of ridiculous stuff. Let's do more of that. No more of that. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go there.
Yeah.
Well, we're not gonna speak any more about
No.
this film, otherwise we'll just murder it completely
Yeah.
if we haven't already. But how about you guys leave your thoughts on the film on our Facebooks and Twitters and tell us what you think about Riddick.
Now, this is the part of the show that I was really looking forward to, because for every diabolical criminal mastermind, for every unstoppable killing machine, there is a skinny guy with a papier-mâché battery strapped to his head who calls himself the Energizer.
That's right. Welcome to Kapow's Dumbest Supercriminals, where we take a look at the villains that give villainy a bad name.
Absolutely. Now, some villains suck just because they have a silly concept, or a dumb costume, or even just a stupid name, like Rainbow Raider.
Or the Hypno Hustler, or Typeface, or Armless Tiger Man, or the Hemogoblin.
But a ridiculous name only gets you so far. You've got to have a dumb idea too, like Asbestos Man, a world-class chemist who decides to take on the Human Torch by making a suit out of super asbestos and then robbing a bank.
Putting aside the fact that Torchy beat him easily by sucking oxygen out of the room, what would he have done if any of the other Fantastic Four showed up with him?
Well, get punched through a wall is my guess.
Yes, and then we have serial offenders like Kite Man, a man who wreaks havoc using the power of kites, and not surprisingly ends up most of his criminal outings by flying into a tree. And then he got eaten.
Yeah, by Bruno Mannheim.
Yep.
That was rough. Now, then we, of course, have so-called superheroes who turn villain, like the Seven in Garth Ennis's The Boys. The Seven, who are a twisted reflection of DC's Justice League, attempt to rescue a hijacked passenger jet full of people, and end up killing everyone on board.
And then they crash the plane into the Brooklyn Bridge. The point of their plan? To prove to the government that they should be allowed to handle national security. Fail.
Yeah, pretty much. But you know what? Even the big guys can make mistakes. Poor judgment can affect even the most tried and tested of villains.
Well, just take a look at Dr. Octopus. He launched an audacious evil plan which revolved around marrying an 80-year-old woman. Once Spidey's Aunt May inherits a fully functional nuclear plant in Canada, Octavius decides the best option is to woo her so that he can get access to it.
So apparently he didn't think of just, going to the completely abandoned nuclear plant and just, using it.
Well, even super criminals can get lonely sometimes.
Yeah, maybe that was
Yeah.
it. So that is just a few of Kapow's dumbest super criminals. Guys, if you can think of any other big bad guy mistakes, then let us know on YouTube, Twitter, or the Face of Book.
Yeah, there's got to be a lot more out there because as we all know, criminals are a cowardly and superstitious lot.
Nice.
Well, that's all we have for you, and quite frankly, it's more than you deserve. The real Sonya and I will be back next week, providing they can explain a particular piece of security footage to the police.
We certainly did make sure those cameras got a good look at our faces, but I hope they don't have an alibi.
Honestly, I hope they do. I can't face another week of this. It's hard enough trying to work out what we're going to do with the Ray clones.
Ah, well, there's one problem solved. I left the back door open, they got out.
Wait, why did you do that?
Dude, I'm evil. Leaving the back door open is the least of what I've done.
Well, I've overthrown 3 governments.
Well, I've personally put 7 different species on the endangered list.
Well, I squeezed the toothpaste from the middle. Bye, guys.